Brits, when dining in America, be prepared to pay much more than what's on the actual receipt. Tipping in America is generally 20 to 25% on top of the bill. Start saving now.
I'll make a video about the tipping culture. So here's actually the bill, and those are the cheese balls, that's the beer, and that's the currywurst. And it says MWS here, and it says 19%. That's basically the sales tax. It's also in England. The value added tax, I think it's 20% in England. So that's what this is. So that's basically a 19% tax on the food. Now, this number here has the tax added onto it already. So the actual cost of the total food before the value added tax is 11 euros and 18 cents. And 19% of 11 euros and 18 cents is 2 euros and 12 cents. And combine that, and you get a total of 13.30. So this number is the sum of these numbers here. And so these numbers actually already include the tax in the number here. And so that's how it comes out to 13.30. Okay, so now I want to make my point, which is that in America, the sales tax at restaurants is usually about 7-point-something%. Let's just call it 8, just make it easy, okay? So if you pay 15% tip and 8% sales tax, you're gonna end up paying 23% of the actual cost of the meal. And 15% tip is pretty average, right, in America. Take that and compare that to in Germany. If you were to pay for a meal and it includes the 19% tax, and then the standard tip, like at a restaurant in Germany, is about 10%, usually, maybe 5 to 10%. You're gonna end up paying in total 29% of the actual cost of the meal. So compare those numbers. You have 23% in America with a 15% tip and 8% sales tax versus a 19% sales tax and a 10% tip. And it ends up being that you're actually paying more in Germany because you're paying 29% of the actual cost of the bill, whereas in America, 23%. So that's something to think about. And I feel like people just don't do the math. They think about like the tip and they're like, oh wow, you're paying like 15-20% for the tip. That seems outrageous. But actually, it ends up being less or about the same. If you pay 20% tip, it ends up being about the same as in Germany, probably 1% less actually, even if you pay less tip because you're paying more in tax to the state. It doesn't matter where the money's going to. It's just reversed. In America, you give the 20% tip to the server and the 8% tip to the government. In Germany, you give the 8% tip to the server and the 20% tip to the government. 20% tip to the government on everything you buy. I thought Germans were supposed to be good with numbers. What happened?